you own a landscape, irrigation, outdoor living, or hardscape company and you're not using these 6 strategies in your business, I can almost guarantee that you are leaving hundreds of thousands, if not even millions of dollars potentially on the table. Hey there, my name is Matt Wacek. I'm the CEO of Landscape Marketing Pros. We're a digital marketing agency that's been working with landscape contractors nationwide since 2017, generating tens of thousands of leads that have helped our clients collectively generate 8 figures in revenue gains. And so in this video, I want to break down these 6 strategies because I see a lot of companies not using these. Now, very briefly, before we begin, I want to direct your attention to the first link in the description, as well as the pinned comment down beneath this video. If you'd like more help with growing your landscape company, getting more high quality leads and ones that can actually afford your services, head down below, click that link, watch that free video that we put together, and then I invite you to take it a step further and actually book an interview with us. We can see if you're a good fit for our program, but you will want to take action on that sooner than later because we provide our clients with service area exclusivity. So you're going to want to get in, get that spot booked and secured before your local competitors come in and swoop that spot from you. But without further ado, let's get into the 6 strategies. So strategy number 1 is to offer your clients financing. This is huge, a really big breakthrough in recent years with how much easier this makes your sales process. Because again, we want path of least resistance for all of our clients. I mean, the easier it is for you to buy something, you, me, any consumer out there, the more likely it is that we will actually take the money out of our pocket or the credit card out of our pocket and pay for it, or take out a loan for doing so. We see this with houses, cars, RVs, boats, vacations. Why not with landscaping as well? And so for you as a business owner, this is very, very advantageous because the consumer that may not have wanted to take out a home equity loan and do all that sort of stuff, or have to write a check for 50 grand for their new backyard, that's a big hurdle for them to get over. But instead they can go and fill out an application, be approved with very little money down, and it's just X amount per month that's withdrawn from their checking account, and they make that small payment every single month. That really lowers the pain of buying, and that's what we want. So this is huge. So what you'll want to do is have a page on your website all about financing, or at least a logo on the About Us page. And so a lot of companies will provide an HTML form that you can install on a page on your website. So I would suggest having a page that's all about financing. It just has that form on there, or you could have the logo of whatever the company is with the link that if they click it, it brings them over to that company's website. They can fill out their application, get approved there. But either way, you want to make it known to your clients that you offer financing, because a lot of landscape companies still don't do this yet, and they're kind of doing things the old school way. But bottom line, this reduces the pain of buying, which is a huge aspect when it comes to a person making a purchasing decision. Now, strategy number 2 is one that you would have to expect with a Landscape Marketing Pros video, and that is a website that is hyper optimized for 2 main purposes. 1, the search engine, so it can actually show up, but also the prospects viewing your website. But you need to have an equilibrium effect, because if it's not doing both, it's not going to work. Because if you have a super SEO optimized website that does not make any sense when it comes to the content and the photos and that sort of stuff, it's not going to convert the visitors. But if you only focus solely on making it look good and having photos and all that sort of stuff, but you don't employ the right SEO strategies with communicating things to the search engines, it's not going to show up. It's not going to get anybody to come there. So you got to have that equilibrium effect. You got to be in the middle there. And so some of the components I would highly recommend employing on this website is a page for each and every service that you offer. And I know that there are services that are usually combined. So like ground covering, that's going to be mulch rock edging combined into one. Paver patios, walkways, and driveways generally kind of combined into one. There's a few others out there. But what you want to include on each one of these pages is, of course, a lot of imagery. You're going to want to have calls to action, which is going to be, again, get them to call you or fill out your contact form. Material types that you use, the colors, all that sort of good stuff. And of course, all this written in a way that's going to attract your ideal clients. And so the reason I say ideal clients is because the way that you're going to communicate on a website to attract the person that's going to spend $50,000 to $100,000 on their backyard is going to be different than a first-time home buyer who can only afford $500 a year for fertilizing and weed control. And again, it kind of depends on how your company's set up, what services do you offer, and who do you offer them to. So those are different factors that you need to weigh in. When you have that all employed onto your website, you have a very powerful asset that can produce a lot of leads, which turns into a lot of sales and revenue gains. So strategy 3 is something that's a little bit out of the ordinary. I don't see a ton of companies doing this, but I think it's something that's really undervalued. And if you just put a little effort into this, it can actually turn into a lot of good sales over the long haul. And that's having a follow-up email sequence. And so this is big for the long-term plays, because the prospect that's kicking around the idea of spending $50,000, $75,000 in their backyard, they generally are going to have a longer sales cycle than the person that just wants to have 10 yards of mulch installed at their kind of typical suburban residential home. And that's not to say that that's the case with all of them. Some prospects are ready to swipe their credit card immediately because they have the cash ready to go and they just want to get the points for the card. Others will need to be warmed up. And so this is where, if you have an email list through your CRM, you could send out a follow-up sequence over, say, 6 weeks with 1 email a week, sharing a variety of content. And so one of the best things is going to be just sharing previous projects that especially that are similar to theirs. So if you're doing paver patios, outdoor kitchens, and so forth, sharing them stories of clients that you worked with and how you took their backyard and completely transformed it into a true masterpiece that they now can enjoy. They got a fire pit they can hang out by. They can make dinner out at their kitchen while their kids are out there playing in the big expansive yard. All that sort of good stuff, as well as getting into some of the intricacies of your service. So comparing and contrasting material types and which brand and style of pavers go with block, the installation patterns of pavers. I mean, there's so many different things out there. What I would encourage you to do is just kind of pick apart your services and see what you can come up with for different ideas for what a consumer who's still maybe on the fence would want to know about your services. And that just helps them knock them off the fence and get them to buy. And I think the best way to utilize this in 2023, 2024 and beyond is having a YouTube channel for your company where you share these videos. So if they're video testimonials with a client, time-lapse videos of the work being done, or even if they're not time-lapse, they're just kind of regular video of the removal process, the install, the finished product, all that sort of stuff. It doesn't take a ton of effort to put those videos together. And even some of the other topics like installation patterns for pavers, different brands of retaining wall block that you're using, and all those other different topics out there. That could be you as the owner, or if you have an operations manager or something like that, just hanging out in the shop with a camera right in front of them on a tripod talking about those things. And obviously you want to have good audio and make sure that's all on point, but that will absolutely put you a leg up against the competition. Strategy number 4 is to qualify your prospects on your website. And this is something that I see a lot of companies really miss out on because they just have the standard contact form where it's like name, address, phone number, email, and what services do you want. And that's fine if you want to maximize lead volume. But if your company wants to reduce the amount of leads but increase the value of the ones that do come in and overall increase the ticket price of your services, you're going to want to have some sort of budget question on that asks with a drop down, what's your budget for the project? Is it 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 30, 40, whatever it is? And possibly even mentioning on there, hey, our minimum is $2,500 or $5,000. If you do this, you will drastically reduce the lead volume. However, like I said, it'll increase the overall ticket price. And if that's what you're after, because if you're only profitable on projects that are bigger than that, then that's something you will definitely want to take advantage of. Now, strategy number 5 is a very, very, very important one, and that is review generation and monitoring. When's the last time you went to Amazon and actually bought something that had no reviews or had less than even 50 or 100 reviews? You probably didn't buy that thing. I know I wouldn't. And same thing applies if it has a low star rating. For most products, if it has a star rating of 4.2 or 4.1 or lower, most people aren't going to buy it. So you need to be getting as many reviews as you possibly can, because social proof is the biggest thing nowadays, especially with social media and all the stuff that goes on there. That is so important to consumers nowadays, is having that social proof of, okay, they do this work, they do really good work, and it just makes it an easier sale to make. Again, path of least resistance is key here. And if you do get negative reviews, do not respond with some crazy emotional response. Be very logical with your response, and ideally get that conversation taken offline by having them give you a call or sending an email with their actual complaint that they have. Because then what you can do if you actually resolve their problem is they'll go back and edit the review, because if they left a 1-star review and their problem was ended up being solved, they may change that to a 4-star, and at least you don't have that 1-star tanking your star rating. And so that's something very, very, very key. The more reviews that you can get, the better, especially when you're transforming someone's backyard and you took it from basically nothing to this very nice, expansive, large yard with turf, and then also an outdoor kitchen, fireplace, patio, retaining walls, all that sort of good stuff. People absolutely love the transformation, and when you can have them leave a review shortly after project completion, it's going to be key, and they're going to be very excited, and they'll want to leave a really good review. So review generation and monitoring is key. So strategy number 6, and I saved this one as one of the best for last, because I know that the people that are still watching are going to be the most serious about taking action with this, and that is utilizing the blog posts on your website to answer questions that your clients may have about your services. And you want to do this for a couple different reasons. One, this is going to get you a ton of additional traffic if you set these up correctly. Now, you have to kind of know things about SEO and that sort of stuff, but when you're answering questions with a blog post, you can show up for certain searches, like our client Proscapes and Tree, who has experienced some rapid growth in recent years due in part to our service program. One example in particular is a blog post that's comparing mulch versus pine straw. And if you're someone that's up north, pine straw is just another form of mulch, but it's pine straw. And if someone is seeking this information out, they see, wow, this company just wrote this whole blog post comparing the pros and cons. This is really great. Then you throw in that nice call to action combined with the social proof of the reviews right there on that blog. It's a winning combination to help generate lots more leads that would otherwise not even know that you exist, because a lot of times people are wondering these certain things, or they're wondering how much is a project going to cost, or so many of the other questions that your prospects are going to be asking either you in person, or they're going to head over to Google and type that in because they want to get an answer to that right away. And so if you optimize things properly with your website with these blog posts, those questions are going to show up when somebody in your area is typing in that particular question. Like, when's the best time to fertilize my lawn in Minnesota? How often should I aerate in Pennsylvania? And I mean, there are so many different combinations out there. By employing this strategy, you can add on thousands upon thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not even hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue using just this strategy alone. And so those are 6 very powerful landscape marketing techniques and strategies that you can employ in your business starting today and can help make you a whole lot more money. And so if you've reached this part of the presentation, what I highly encourage that you do is go down beneath this video, click the first link in the description or the pinned comment, head over there, book a qualification interview, and let's see if you're a good fit for our program. We've helped so many landscape companies scale and reach their goals and completely transform the entire trajectory of their company. And I want to help you do the same. So with that said, first link in the description, pinned comment down beneath. If you employ some of these strategies in your business, comment down below what your results have been. I'd love to hear how these have helped you out. And lastly, go down below, join the ever-growing family of landscape business owners that win by hitting subscribe and clicking the bell for notifications so you know when all the newest content here on our channel goes live. So with that said, my name is Matt Wacek, CEO of Landscape Marketing Pros. Thanks for checking out our channel, and we look forward to speaking with you sometime soon about scaling your landscape company.